Hello students, today we will study the first chapter of class 12, that is solid state. We know matter exists in three states, that is solid, liquid and gases. Matter exists in three states, that is solid, liquid and gases. Based on the temperature, based on temperature and pressure. A state of a matter is interconvertible. It means if we vary the temperature, then the state will change. If we vary the pressure, the state will change. It means if we heat a solid, then that solid melts and converts to liquid form. It means what is the temperature and what is the pressure that will define the state of the matter. So the next one, we know at normal temperature and pressure, most of the substance occur in solid state. So the next one, what we got? We got at ordinary temperature and pressure, most of the matter exists in what? That is in solid state. Let us discuss solid state. We know according to kinetic molecular theory, according to kinetic molecular theory, two opposing forces. What is that one? Two opposing forces. The first one is intermolecular force, and the next one is the kinetic energy. Or you can say that is thermal energy. These two opposing forces, the first one is intermolecular forces, and thermal energy will decide the state of the matter. What we can say? In case of solid state, the molecules, or we can say atoms, or we can say ions. In case of solid state, the molecule, atoms or ions are closely packed. It means in solid state, the atoms, molecule or ions are closely packed. What it means? If they are closely packed, it means they have strong intermolecular forces and they have lesser thermal energy. As we know, in case of solid state, the molecules are held together, the ions or the molecules are held together by strong intermolecular forces. They have not random motion, it means they are fixed, they can only and only vibrate along their mean position. That's why you can say in case of solid state, the kinetic energy or the thermal energy is least, whereas they have strong and strong intermolecular forces. In case of solid state, the atoms and or molecules are closely packed to give a definite shape of the solids or the matter. To the next one, we can say in case of solid state, what are their characteristics? Let us discuss some general characteristic of solid. What are the general characteristics of solid? As we have studied in class 9, that solid have fixed mass, volume and shape. Why it is so? Because we know they have fixed volume, they have fixed mass, they have fixed shape. Because in solids, the atoms or the molecules or the ions have strong intermolecular forces. So the next one, they have least interparticle space. The atoms or the molecule or the ion in case of solid state are fixed. They can only and only oscillate along their mean position. To the next one, the solid have less interparticle space. That's why they are incompressible. It means what we sort out, what is the general characteristic of solid? It means the first one, they have fixed mass, volume and shape. Next, solids, they have strong intermolecular forces. The next one, they have least interparticle space. Next, they are rigid. It means they are unbending and inflexible. To the next one, they are incompressible. What we have discussed, the general characteristic of solid, that they have fixed mass, volume and shape. They have strong intermolecular forces. They have least interparticle space. They are rigid. They are incompressible. To the next one, the particles of solid are fixed and they can only vibrate along their mean position. What we got? We got solids, they have fixed mass, volume and shape. They have strong intermolecular forces. They have least interparticle space. They are rigid. They are incompressible. The particles of the solids have not random motion. It means they are fixed because they have strong intermolecular forces. They can only vibrate along their mean position. If we are discussing in solid the two opposing forces, that is the intermolecular forces and the thermal motion, in case of solid state, it has more and more interparticle force of attraction, whereas it has less thermal motion that is only and only due to vibration motion. Based on the nature of arrangements of particle, it means how the atoms are arranged to give that solid, to give that matter, they can be categorized into two types. The first one the first one is amorphous and the next one is crystalline. What is that next one? That based on the arrangement of based on the arrangement of particles or atoms or molecules, they are categorized into what do we say? Solid. It is categorized into the first one crystalline, the next one is amorphous. As we know, crystalline, as the name indicates, in crystalline solids, they have a regular pattern of arrangements of atoms or molecules in the three-dimensional lattice. It means in crystalline lattice, they have ordered arrangement. Suppose these are the atoms, then they have a definite pattern of arrangement of atoms or molecule in three-dimensional space. See here, what we see here in crystalline, the atoms or the molecule, they are arranged in a definite pattern to give the crystalline solid. Whereas in case of amorphous, there is not regular arrangement. It means what we got? Amorphy. Amorphous, it is derived from a word amorphy. Amorphy, it means have not shape. Why it not has shape? Because in amorphous solids, the atom, molecules or the particles are not arranged in a definite pattern. Therefore, they have not a definite shape. Whereas what we see in case of crystalline solids, the atoms, ions or the molecules are arranged in a definite pattern to give an entire lattice. Clear? Let us discuss crystalline and amorphous solid. And the next one we will discuss amorphous. So first one, what we know, in case of crystalline solid, there is a regular arrangement of atoms or molecules in the three-dimensional space to give the entire lattice. It means in crystalline solid, we have discussed that they have a definite pattern of arrangement. Whereas amorphous solid, they have not definite pattern of arrangement. The first one, what we got, in case of crystalline solid, they have definite pattern of arrangement of atoms, ions or molecules in three-dimensional space. Whereas in case of amorphous solid, they have not definite pattern of arrangement. In case of amorphous solid, they have not definite pattern of arrangement. So the next one, what we see in case of crystalline solid, the molecules are arranged in a definite pattern. That means they have an long ordered arrangement. So what we can say, whether they have not disorder, they have not imperfection, they have imperfection, but that is least. What we got here, it means in case of crystalline solid, that is, they have not purely ordered arrangement, but they have least imperfection. That's why we can say they have long range order. It means in crystalline solid, the ions or the molecule or the atoms are arranged in a definite pattern up to a long order. What we got here, it means in case of crystalline solid, they have long range order. The next one, we know in case of amorphous solid, they have not order arrangement, or we can say they have short range order. Short range order. The next one, we know they have a definite arrangement of atoms or molecules. That's why they have a characteristic shape. In case of crystalline solid, they have definite patterns of arrangements of atom or molecule. That's why they have characteristic shape. Whereas in case of amorphous solid, they have not definite arrangement of atom or ion or molecule. Therefore, they have not definite shape. What we got here? They have characteristic. They have characteristic shape. Whereas in case of amorphous solid, they have not. They have not characteristic shape. When we discuss the next property, that is the melting point. If you know what is melting point, the temperature at which the solid together with liquid can coexist. It means they are in equilibrium at that temperature. But what it means? In case of crystalline solid, they have sharp melting point because they have order arrangement. Whereas in case of amorphous solid, they have not sharp melting point because of irregular or having not a definite pattern of arrangement. The next one is that the crystalline solid, they have sharp melting point, whereas they have not sharp melting point. So the next one, if we discuss the crystalline solid, if we discuss about the cleavage property, it means when we cleave the crystalline solids from a definite plane, then it keeps a smooth cleavage. Whereas in case of amorphous solid, when we want to cleave it, it gives rough cleavage. The next one is that in crystalline solid, when we want to cleave, it means crystalline solids have solid had smooth cleavage, whereas in case of amorphous solid they have rough. Let us understand this point with by taking an example that in case of slate, if you want to break it in a definite plane, then it is separated into different layers easily and gives a smooth cleavage. Whereas if you want to break rubber, then it will not break into a smooth sheets, whereas it gives a rough cleavage. So the next one, if we discuss the cooling property, it means the cooling curve. In case of crystalline solids, let us discuss the next point, that is cooling curve. In case of crystalline solids, the next one, 6, that is cooling curve. If we discuss the cooling curve in case of crystalline solid, what we got? This one is temperature. This one is time. What we got? This one is liquid. Liquid, when it undergoes solidification, it is converted into solid. What we got? It means we have not a smooth cooling curve in case of crystalline solid, whereas in case of amorphous solid, what we got? We have a smooth. This one is temperature axis, and what is this? This is time. What we got? They have a smooth cooling curve. The next one we will discuss the heat of fusion. Heat of fusion, it means in case of crystalline solid they have a definite heat of fusion, whereas in case of amorphous solid they have not definite heat of fusion. The 7 point, it means they have definite heat of fusion,